What's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320. I have my girlfriend here. Alicia is back. So we're about to do a review for a really interesting, strange, science fiction, scary, awesome show in Stranger Things. Heard all over the news and with a lot of my friends.
The news or social media?
The news.
Okay.
It's the same thing. News is the news. So anyway, most of my friends, they were telling me this is a really cool show called Stranger Things, and I was like, what in the world is this? Because every time I would look at it, I would see this random little boy with like a shaved hair, but I found out it's a little girl. Her name is 11, or short for L, and she brings us on this interesting journey that reminds me of a cross between E.T., the show Signs, the movie, what was that movie? Chronicle, and I think it was probably one of the better series I've seen in a long time. It's only like 8 episodes, babe.
8 episodes, and he made me watch them all. We watched 8 episodes.
We watched 5 with Joe, but Joe had to go and watch the movie Sausage Party, so I'm going to try to get Joe to actually do a review for Sausage Party, because chances are I probably won't end up seeing it, because she won't see it at all. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't see it.
That's shade. You just
No, I didn't even say anything.
He said she won't let me see it.
No, I never said that. I said that she doesn't want to see it, so that's the reason why I haven't watched it yet. So
okay,
that's the reason why.
Go ahead.
But anyway, maybe later on Joe will do a review for Sausage Party. I gotta talk him into that.
Okay, focus.
But
Stranger Things.
No, it's the same thing. It's all a segue. But this is gonna be a non-spoiler review regardless. So,
which sucks, because how do I tell you what's going on when I tell you what's going on?
We just gotta pitch it to them. What was our experience going through it? You were experiencing dread and fear most of the time.
Can I tell my own feelings?
Well, let's go into the segue first before we go into what we thought about it. Because for me, it being a TV series, I think that the look of it, the cinematography, and especially the soundtrack, that had this 80s vibe to it that was really, to me, authentic in its own right, because when it came to this other world, and when it came to the other science fiction section of this, they did it very well from a production standpoint. But then when they had the characters fleshed out in that era of the 80s, I think it was like 1983, they did a great job for me. I don't know, what did you think about the visuals, baby?
I don't care about visuals, it look cool. But okay, the visuals.
But what about the soundtrack? Because you're a movie.
The music was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I care about the story.
It's always gonna be cinematography, music, then acting, and then story.
Well, tag me is my time.
Oh, I got you. But you're gonna be able to tag into this one because the performances. I mean, for me, any story that allows you to be able to remember most of the characters' names, like I remember Dustin, I remember Nancy, I remember what's the guy's Harbour, that was the chief. He was played by David, I forgot his last name. David Harbour. Last one he was in was, I think, that movie with Denzel Washington. What was that called? I forgot the name of that movie. But Winona Ryder, she
was awesome.
She plays the mom named Joyce. This is the best
job you've done since Beetlejuice.
What?
Facts. Okay. This is her best work since Beetlejuice.
Oh my gosh.
I ain't lying.
But
she fell off after that.
Everybody else was a no-name. But the fact is that we remember the characters. Okay. We care about the characters enough to remember their names. Like even the jerk Steve, I remember his name. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, one of the ones that are centerpieces around was her son Will, her second son Jonathan. And then the other group was the 3 boys, which was Dustin, Lucas, and then Mike. And they're a tight-knit group. They were playing like the Dungeons & Dragons. And Will was also immersed into that. He was part of the group until something happens. And I think all of their performances across the board were great. I think that they played it so well that I was like, man, I gotta see more of this. Because it felt like a movie.
And more he saw.
Well, yeah, I did.
We saw.
All of it.
All of it.
But I mean,
this is what we do on the weekends.
True.
We watch things on the TV or in the theater so that we can do reviews.
But watching it, real talk, each episode felt like its own little mini movie. Like it didn't feel like it was like I was looking at an episode. I was like, man, I want to see the progression of the story. What's gonna happen? Like it was that well done from an acting standpoint and a production standpoint. They kept me riveted. But the one who stole the show, which we talked about in the very beginning, was this girl named 11 or L that Mike would call her. And I think that her abilities and her stage presence and just her acting progressed the story so well. Like you always were feeling for her, but then you were always kind of like, what is she truly capable of? I think that was what it was like, and the way that they did like the CG and the effects for her, for the monster, and for the other world, I think were amazing. And I think that they had the perfect cast to be able to get everybody working with, because everybody looked terrified when stuff was going down. People were scared. People were really trying to pull it together, and I think that this is where you're going to come in as far as the story. Everybody had to work together to get this thing done. And I think that they played it out really well. But what would your take on the story?
Okay. So
without spoiling it.
Ooh, shady. The story was really good. I think how you kind of get to how all these pieces kind of work together. Because initially you just have this one thing that happens. There's like a domino effect of all these other things kind of happening. But it all ends up working together. It's really weird.
Oh yeah, came full circle.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
That's my part. Okay. So, it was weird. And it's weird because I don't like scary movies or scary shows. Anything has that thing. If there's gonna be that doom 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 boom, I don't like that. That's when the scary things like. Anyway.
This was her most of the episode.
It wasn't like this whole thing, like, cause it's very scary. But it's really not. Once you get past like the monster part. Did that spoil it? Okay, good. Like the story part is really good. Like when you start to kind of get past all that stuff, so it's really good. The story was like good. What else you want from me? Winona Ryder, best jobs. I'm gonna say that again. Best job since Beetlejuice. And then trying to kind of understand how this other world happens, and watching these interesting little nerdy kids kind of legit save the day. Like watching them and how that works, and how it kind of goes back to like a child's mind is so like fascinating, because they don't question things. They question everything, but like they believe everything.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
When you look at some of the characters that go through a hard time or whatever, I'm not saying it, but whatever. Like you can see that the child's mind kind of helps, like, oh, because kids just be like, oh, okay, there's a monster, that's not weird, let's continue. Where the adults are like, nah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, she's hit the nail on the head. Like, everything kind of is revolving around two major characters in Ellie and Will, and everybody's had to be brought together to try to figure it out. But they're figuring it out in their own spaces. They're just like,
to the very end.
They're always there. They're always close. But the mom, for me, she won it over for me, because after the second episode, I was like, yeah. But I think that Winona Ryder, the way that she played it so well, it was like, is she really crazy? And at the same time, we know she's right. Yeah. And I think that the way that she progresses as a mom, all the way to the very end, I was like, that was it. But in even his friends, it was all, to me, I just really enjoyed the experience. For her to watch it, I mean, it took a lot for her to watch it, like real talk, because she was really legitimate. She didn't want to have nightmares. She didn't want to be afraid. But given that this is kind of a horror genre, like kind of TV show, would you watch the second season of it? Because now that you know everything that's kind of happened, now that you know what the world is, like, I felt like you really enjoyed it.
Okay, I would watch it, but I would not watch by myself.
So you'd watch it with me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just checking. So there you have it. I mean, I think for me, if I had to give this show or this first season a rating, if they're gonna be a second season, I hope and pray it is. Given what happened at the very end, I don't want to spoil it. There should be. Because there's some heartfelt things that happened towards the end, but I really loved it.
Yeah.
I give this season a 9.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it. I was all in it. I was into the soundtrack. I was into the cinematography. I love the characters. I love the world and the other world, if you understand what I mean once you watch this. But that's my final thoughts on it. What would you give it a rating, baby? What's your final thoughts?
Okay, so I would give it a 9. just because, okay, so the monster part, it took me, once I could understand that, it helped me to not be afraid. Like, I feel like the first 4 or 5 episodes, like, I was afraid because I didn't understand how this happened. But once I got, like, an understanding on the monster character or whatever, then I wasn't afraid. So I just say, it just took me too long to not be afraid. If that makes
But
sense.
that might be a good thing for some of y'all that want to be afraid.
Okay.
But anyway, that's our final closing thoughts on Stranger Things. Trying to get Joe to check out the last 4, because like I said, Joe looked at 5 episodes with us. He had to go look at Sausage Party. I'm trying to see if Joe want to do a review on Sausage Party and hopefully come back and watch this. I'm definitely down to watch this all over again because it's, to me, that good. Anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed our review. Keep it locked. JBS, we ain't gonna stop. Me and Alicia, we out. Peace.